It's time for Come and Talk It with your host, Michael Cargill, brought to you by Texas Law Shield. Over the last decade, Michael has championed and supported the rights of law-abiding Texans to own and use firearms. He is the owner of Central Texas Gun Works, a veteran of the United States Army, and has achieved national exposure in such prestigious media outlets such as Forbes Magazine, Fox Business News, CNN Money, AOL, BBC World News, Huffington Post, and the New York Times. Cargill vigorously defends lawful gun ownership in this country without regard to party politics. And now, here's Michael Cargill.
It's never gonna happen.
Dude, you gotta believe. Come on!
Wait for it.
Like,
That was so awesome.
that was awesome.
Good day, Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world. Let's praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. All right, so, and you know what? He has risen. He has risen. Let's praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. That's what it's all about. All right, so, man, right there, you just saw President Biden, you know, that America's watching him now. Every time he walks up to the, to Air Force One there, we're wondering, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it? We're all cheering for him, he's the most powerful person in the world, and we hate for him to trip and fall as he's going, up the stairs, literally up the stairs.
Well, small victories, you know what I mean? Small victories.
That's what we live for now. We just like, Lord Jesus, we just hope he makes it. Oh, in your holy name, let us pray. All right. So, and also today I want to talk about, the Austin Police Department. I want to talk about the fact that, why did the Austin police let a shooting suspect go when they had his name, license plate, and video evidence? Why did they let this guy go? And also, should teens involved in the D.C. carjacking turned murder be charged as adults? I want to know what you think. What are your thoughts about that? Should the teens involved in that D.C. carjacking that end up turning into a murder, should they be charged as adults? And why did the Austin Police Department let a shooting suspect go when they had his name, license plate, and video evidence? I want you to check out this video here from a shooting incident that happened in my parking lot at Central Texas Gun Works. All right, so you're not going to hear much of an auto, but you see a guy actually pulls out of the parking lot, and there we go. This guy fired like 12 shots back at the bar. Here's what happened. Let me break this down for you. All right, so basically we were inside the bar, and a guy grabbed the wrong drink. He actually grabbed the wrong person's drink. You're like, look, dude, you went to a random person's table, grabbed the wrong drink. What's up? So he gets all upset about the fact he grabbed the wrong drink. He says, hey, well, here's some money. Just take the money. Well, it's not about the money. It's about the fact you grabbed the wrong drink. Dude, don't walk a random person's table and take a drink. But you know what? Hey, not a problem at all. So what we did was we just went back to the bar and just got another drink. Just let it go. Because I teach this in class. Sometimes you have to let certain situations go. You can push it to the next level. You can argue about it. You can, start a fight. But a lot of times it's best just to use conflict resolution. Just, you know what? Let's just let it go. And just, how about we just going to let him have that drink? Because obviously he needs it more than we did. So we're going to go back to the bar and get a totally different drink. So we go back to the bar, get another drink. And then all of a sudden, there's a confrontation between him and the employees, the bar back in the bar. This guy grabs the drink and grabs another drink, runs out the front door with the drink. So he's trying to lead the bar with a glass, with 2 glass drinks. And so the bartender in the bar back, they're like, hey, dude, you can't do that. You can't lead the bar with drinks. You gotta leave the drinks in the bar. You gotta drink them in the bar. You can't just run out the front door. So he gets upset. He starts a fight. He throws glass, this glass at the employees of the bar, ends up throwing it in their face. And then he starts a big, huge fight outside the bar. So they're fighting. This is all going down. And I immediately, when it started, I grabbed my phone. I dialed 911. I'm on the phone with 911. I'm telling them the address. I'm giving them the information, giving them the suspect description, everything. And while I'm on the phone with 911, that's when the guy pulls out of the parking lot. And once again, I want you to listen to this video. So as he pulls out of the parking lot, I'm actually on the phone with 911. After this scuffle, he goes to his vehicle, jumps into his vehicle, backs out of the parking space, pulls out, pulls into the road there on the access road. I'm actually on the phone with 911 when those shots were actually being fired. Now, he fired about 10 to 12 shots right then and there. And so one of those shots actually hit the driver's side window of my vehicle. And so luckily, everyone that was standing outside actually ducked. If it wasn't for the fact that I have, bullet-resistant windows and the fact that he fired shots at the vehicle and they're standing back behind the vehicle, someone could have been shot and killed right then and there. So then, the police show up. This guy's gone. The police get there. We give the police this information. We also give the police his vehicle information, give the police his tag number. We tell them exactly what happened. We lay it all out for them and everything. And so we actually, we're lucky enough to actually give this person the police officer's name. Give the police officer the person's name. And by the way, his name is Mark Vera. That's Mark, M-A-R-K, Vera, V-A-R-A, just in case you want to know. His name is Mark, that's M-A-R-K, Vera, V-A-R-A. Because this idiot, not only did he fire shots in the parking lot, this idiot uses his credit card to pay for his tab. So not only do they have his credit card information, they have his name, they have his license plate. We give all the information. And I tell people in class, you got to give the police officers information. You got to give them the complete information so they have something to go by. So then, after the police leave, they go about their way. They fill out the report. We get the report number. And I sat there and I thought, you know what? This guy is an idiot. He's got to be the dumbest person in the world for someone to do this, leave their driver's license, their credit card information, and then commit a crime, deadly conduct, which happens to be a felony, by the way, deadly conduct, firing shots at people, a felony. So then I say, you know what? I bet you he went down the street to the next bar. So I pull out after the police leave. I go down to the next place, which is a little place called the Warehouse. I pull out of there and I go down there. You know what? This idiot is actually, his car is in the parking lot. This idiot, Mark Vera, is actually inside the bar. We come back from the break. I'm going to tell you what the Austin Police Department did once we informed them where this guy was and what happened after that. And I want to wish everyone a happy Easter. Remember, he has risen. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Peace, this is Maj Toure. You're listening to Come and Talk It Radio with Michael Cargill.
I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government. After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, we're going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were compliant with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're talking about Austin, Texas. We're talking about Washington, D.C. We're talking about gun control. That's what we do here in this show. Now, check this out. So, this video here. This is outside in the parking lot of Central Texas Gun Works. So that's a young man, Mark Vera. I want to make sure we get this name right. I want to make sure everyone understands who I'm talking about, what I'm saying. I want to make sure there's no doubts about, the name or anything like that. That's Mark. That's M-A-R-K, Vera, V-A-R-A. That's the idiot that actually goes into a bar and, gets upset about the fact that he grabbed the wrong drink and then fights with the employees at the bar. They ask him to leave. He decides to throw drinks in their face, gets into a fight with the employees of the bar. They say, hey, dude, just leave, It's not a big deal. Just go ahead and just leave, because you've obviously, you've gone too far. So instead, he gets upset and gets into his car, pulls out of the parking lot and fires 10 to 12 shots back at the people that were standing outside, the employees of this establishment. And when this guy did this, luckily everyone hit the ground. Luckily, one of the rounds only hit the driver's side window of my vehicle. And so, and the funny thing about this is I'm actually on the phone with 911 when he fired the shots. Because like I tell people in my class, don't get caught up in what's going on. Don't get caught up in the emotions of everything. Grab your phone, dial 911. So I'm actually on the phone with 911. So when we do the open records request and we ask for the 911 call, you're going to hear the 10 to 12 shots on the 911 call because this is happening in real time. So this guy, goes down the street, and I tell you, the police show up, they do their thing, they take a report. We tell the police officer his name, Mark Vera. We give him his license plate number. And by the way, we have a picture of that also. You can show that picture of his vehicle and that license plate. I want to make sure everyone sees this, because I want you to get a good shot of this guy's vehicle. The vehicle, him and his friend was driving in. Make sure we get a good shot of that. That's his vehicle coming up here in a second. And we're going to see his license plate number. Want to make sure we see that. Make sure there's no doubts or questions about that. His license plate is Texas. That's N as in Nico. I'm sorry, that's in November. K Kilo, J Juliet. That's 8253. Texas license plate. He's driving a black Dodge Charger. Okay, I want to make sure we understand that. That's Mark Vera driving Texas license plate in November. K Kilo, J Juliet, 8253. So we give the police all this information. And the police do their investigation. They even get this guy's credit card information and everything. So they have everything about this guy. Because I tell people, you got to give police a good description of what's going on. You got to give them all the information. That way they have something to go on so they can do their investigation and get these people that do bad things and bring them to the district attorney who can bring charges against these people and bring them to court. So we do that. Give them everything. There's nothing more I can give you, other than just handing the person over to you myself. My goodness, So we do this. And so then the police leave. They do their job. And so I thought, this guy, like I said, is an idiot. So I'm willing to bet this guy pulled out of our parking lot, went down the street, and it's early in the night. So he decided, you know what? Let's go to the next bar. So he goes down to the next bar, which is what is it called? The Warehouse. He goes down to that bar. And so I go down, to the Warehouse. I see this guy's car in the parking lot. I see this guy inside the bar. I go inside. He's inside the bar, sitting down. So I call 911. I called 311 first, and they transferred me to 911. I gave them the report number. So then, give the police the report number. I'm saying, hey, here's the guy that just did this shooting, about an hour ago, 45 minutes ago, at this location over here. He's currently right now at this location. Here's the address. Here's a picture. Here's his license plate number. Here's where he's sitting inside the bar. He's right here. Come get him. So what did he do? About 8 police officers get together. They get together at a gas station, at the intersection of Congress and Ben White. And then they talk with the investigator or supervisor or someone. They say, you know what? No. We're not going to do anything. Let's just wait. We're going to wait. We're not going to do anything. So while I'm sitting there in the parking lot, that's when I noticed that my window had actually been shot. Because it wasn't shattered or anything like that. That's when I know I had a bullet in my driver's side window. So I said, oh, by the way, I have a round actually hit my driver's side window. And the police officer said, okay, well, stay right there. So I hung up from 911. They called me back. They said, hey, Mr. Cargill, can you come to where we are? I'm like, well, where are you? We're in your parking lot. Well, how about you come to where I am? Because I'm in the Warehouse parking lot where this criminal is located. They said, no, Mr. Cargill, come to us. I said, no, how about you come to me? Because I'm in the parking lot where the criminal is. They're like, no. We don't want to, we don't want to engage him. How about you come to me? No. How about you come to me? So this goes back and forth. Eventually, I said, okay, fine. I will go to where you guys are located. So then, to ensure that I actually was going to follow their instructions, I pull out of my parking lot. I pull out of the parking lot of the Warehouse where Mark Vera was. Vehicle license plate number, hold on, make sure, November Kilo Juliet 8253. I pull out of the parking lot, and the Austin police officer follows me around and back to my parking lot to make sure I got there, and then takes pictures of my vehicle and gets the information, and that's where it ends. So this guy still today has not been arrested. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that is why we have problems in crime in this city. If we don't fund our police and make sure we have enough law enforcement officers on the road to make sure that we can handle these situations, we don't have enough officers, this problem will persist. It's going to continue. And if I'm wrong, call me up. By the way, my telephone number is 512-543-2284. That's 512-543-2284. That's 512-543 Come and Take It, CATI. Once again, that's 512-543-2284. If you think I'm wrong, you call me and tell me, Michael, you're wrong. Let me know, because this is ridiculous. I don't care if you're a police informant. I don't care if you're the drug cartel. I don't care who this guy is. He's a criminal, he's a thug, and he deserves to be in jail. And everyone knows where I'm located. I'm located at 321 West Ben White Boulevard, and no one scares me. Once again, my telephone number is 512-543-2284. Come and talk it. All right, now, Thomas asks, what about the bump stock ban? Thomas says, hey, Mike, so the court has ruled that the bump stocks are not machine guns. Now what do we do? Well, you know what, Thomas? So here's how that works. My case, Michael Cargill versus the Department of Justice, is the only case that has gone forward and actually had its day in court. No other case has gone to court and had a trial. The only thing they've done is they made a decision in this other case about the definition of what a bump stock is. And so that case still has to go back to the lower court and have a trial. They still have not had a trial. So nothing has happened yet. Our case, my case, Michael Cargill against the federal government, the Department of Justice, is the only case that actually has had its day in court and is further along than any other case. We need these other cases, so, these other cases around the country to meet us, so we can make it to the Supreme Court, so the Supreme Court can make a decision. So just because a court of appeals on one part of the country, all that does is just make a decision on that part of the country. It does not affect the entire United States. I'm not selfish. I'm trying to take care of the entire country. This is about America. What is it? America.
America, baby.
That's right. And so this is what it's about. It's not about me being selfish and worrying about just the West Coast. I'm worried about the entire United States. So what I need is all these cases around the country to meet us up, hurry up and get their day in court, whether they win or lose, doesn't matter. And we need the Supreme Court to make the decision of how it's going to affect the entire country. And once again, Michael Cargill versus the Department of Justice is the only bump stock case in this country that has had its day in court. And we are now on appeal to our Court of Appeals. And we expect it. I anticipate we're going to win that appeal. And then we're going to hopefully make it to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court's only going to pick one case to go forward. So we don't know which case they're going to pick. They could pick my case. They could pick someone else's case. We don't know. So we'll find out. And that's how that stuff works. So unfortunately, there was no big, huge hoo-ha. It's just that someone had a loud voice saying they had some type of victory when it really wasn't a victory because they haven't had the day in court yet. So we got to have that day in court first. And unfortunately, we need all those cases to go to court, have the day in court so we can make it to the Supreme Court. And that is how the law changes. That is how things happen. That's how we make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, it's this definitely looks like this is going to be the most promising case. I mean, it's definitely going to be a fun. We should do a live show. We should do a live podcast from the Supreme Court building.
You can't.
Well, from outside.
You can do it outside.
Yeah,
you can't do it. Hear ye, hear yea, hear yea. There are no recordings inside the building.
Ask one of the justices to give their opinion live.
Right. And I know I'm calm. I'm not going to blow a vessel or anything. I've already done that. I did that back in a year and a half ago. I blew a blood vessel and had to go to the hospital after the radio show. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm on a blood pressure medicine now, so I'm good. All right. So we're going to talk about we come back from the break. I want to talk about D.C. I want to ask you guys the question of Washington, D.C. And what about this carjacking these teenagers actually executed in D.C. and the guy they carjacked ended up dying? Also, we got a video of the paraplegic, the young lady whose boyfriend, husband, whatever, was killed July of last year. I want to talk about an incident that happened with her and the Austin Police Department. Got a video of something that happened with her interaction with the Austin Police Department. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
This is Coley on Noir, and you're listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, I invoke my right to remain silent, and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard, quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given to suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements can be used against you regardless of the Miranda warnings because you're not in custody. If you're put in handcuffs but you say something incriminating on your own without being questioned, those statements can and will be used against you because you're not being interrogated. You're just starting to spout off. This is why it's imperative that you know your rights and you shouldn't rely.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're back and we're talking about, everything that's happened around the country this week. We're talking about different shootings that happened in Austin. Man, I tell you, do you know that, violent crime is actually increasing in Austin, Texas? Do you know that? Violent crime is actually increasing. And in the U.S., actually. The U.S., the United States of America, saw a significant crime rise across major cities in 2020. And it's not letting up. Do you know that major American cities saw a 33% increase in homicides last year as the pandemic swept across the country? 33% increase in homicides.
Wow, in the city?
In the U.S.,
Oh, in the
United
US.
States
Okay.
of America, 33% increase in homicides. What do you think?
Since COVID or after COVID?
2020, for the year 2020. And by the way, tell everybody what's your name.
My name's Prophet.
Prophet.
Yup.
That's right. Nothing like having Prophet on the show on Easter.
Yeah.
He has risen.
Nah, for real.
So says
Happy
the
Easter,
Lord.
everybody.
That's right. Happy Easter. So, Prophet, what do you say? What do you say?
33% increase.
33%. Get close to the
A
mic.
33% increase in homicides in the year
That's-
2020.
that's right.
It's been a crazy year for one.
That's right. And I brought Prophet into the show because Prophet took my license to carry handgun course.
Oh yeah, for sure. I had to.
That's right. What do you think about what did you think about the class, Prophet?
Actually, the class is very informative. I encourage everybody to take the class. It's important for y'all to know gun safety as well as how to keep yourself safe, your family safe, and out of jail. Make sure you get that Texas Law Shield too. Protect yourself. Just gotta throw that out there.
Why do you say that? And see,
Because-
I didn't even tell Prophet to say that. Okay, Prophet saying it all on his own.
Because one thing I learned in the class is that when there's a situation such as one at the bar, the guy should have took the class. He would have known that he shouldn't have done what he did.
He would know how to shoot too.
But it's okay. But
obviously you can't hold the gun, can't aim properly.
one thing I learned was that over little situations such as a drink or anything else like that, that bullet that comes out that gun is worth how much? $15,000.
15,000. Why you say that, Prophet? 15,000.
15 bands. 15 bands. So it's like basically what that covers is court costs, bond costs, your whole life. So just think about it. If I pull that trigger, is this situation worth 15 bands in my life that I probably don't got because I'm still waiting on my stimulus check?
Because the attorney's gonna get at least 10,000. 10 grand going to the attorney.
And that's if you get off. You might end up getting 15 years as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We got to remember we're black, so we're slightly different.
What did I say? Don't drop the soap.
No.
That's right. Boy, don't drop the soap.
But yeah, so it was real informative. I was able to take away a lot of information, such as how to diffuse the situation before escalating the situation. Because last thing you want to do is pull out a strap when it's you took my parking spot. Is it really worth it? Nah. Let's just talk. Hey, look, it's a parking spot that just opened up right there. That's how you diffuse the situation. Not, hey, this is America, Second Amendment right to bear arms. I can do whatever I want to. Okay, cool, perfectly fine. But think about it first. So that class taught me how to use my head and not my trigger finger. So
nice.
That's what I learned.
That's a good marketing slogan.
I like that. I like that. Man, I take Prophet. Boy, you spitting the word.
Man, you feel me?
I feel you. You spitting the word. All right. So, and then today on Easter, you believe it or not, Easter Sunday, this morning, 8:00 this morning, I stood in front of my class. I had a license to carry handgun course on Easter Sunday morning. I walked into the building, walked to the classroom. I had 20 students on Easter Sunday. That's the way to praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Boy, you going to learn today. I brought him up one side of that mountain, and I brought him down the other side. You know, I told him about, this is how you do it. This is how you don't do it. I said, this is what we're going to do over here. Don't do this right here. I said, because you know what? Because when your time comes, what I say, I like to say, don't look down the barrel of the gun, because what you're going to see, you're going to see Jesus or the devil. That's what I'm talking about.
Preach.
It's like past the Michael Cargill.
Boy, you got to bring him upside that mountain and bring him down to the other side.
Lord.
That's right. That's right. Nothing like praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Don't get me started.
What an organ at? We need the organ to play.
That's right. So, I was actually excited. I stand in front of the class. It's like my therapy. I stand in front of the class. I get all, my anger of the week. I get that out by teaching the class. And, students are great. Every class is actually different. And, and people don't know what to expect. So when they get there, they show up. I want to make sure, they learn. I want to make sure they retain that information. I want to make sure when they walk away, they think about, I need to do something different with my life. Because the reason I came to this class is because this particular incident that happened here, but then I want them to walk away and say, okay, well, man, I need to handle the situation this way differently. And maybe a gun is not the right thing I should use for that particular situation. Maybe I need to use conflict resolution. I need to calm that situation down. Maybe I should talk to a person like that. I'm an adult talking to another adult, not a parent talking to a child. So, those things we talk about. And, I love showing different videos. I love, talking about different shootings that happen around the country. Because I want people to understand. I love comparing like shootings like, Kyle Rittenhouse. I look at that shooting that happened in Wisconsin, Kyle Rittenhouse. I compare that to, Ahmaud Arbery. To me, those are the same situations where someone was being chased by someone and they had to stop and they tried to defend themselves. Kyle Rittenhouse defending himself by using an AR-15 and shot his attackers. Ahmaud Arbery did not have a gun, so he was shot and killed. So I compare those situations as the same situations. Both of them should have been able to defend themselves. One had a gun, one did not. One survived because they defended themselves. One died because they didn't have a gun. And so you got to educate yourself. You got to find out what the laws are. Because I always tell people in class, police can lie to you, but you cannot lie to police. They can lie to you, but you cannot lie to them. Police officers can lie to you and tell you whatever to get you to talk and tell them, all your deep, dark secrets, but you cannot lie to law enforcement. All right, and that's Supreme Court case. What do you think? I'm going to turn this over to my son. I'm afraid of what he's going to say.
No, but it's just so you can't lie to police, you can also not talk to them either, right? So you have a right to remain silent, so you should exercise that. Don't be a talker. No one's ever talked themselves out of getting arrested. Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah. So that's kind of my take on it. Just be quiet, or be quiet when the cuffs come out. Usually.
All right. What do you think?
Plead the fifth.
Prophet.
What's up?
What do you think?
Could you repeat the question again?
I just want to know what you think. What do you think? What's on your mind?
Well, right now, what's on my mind now? There was a lady by the name of Miss Rose, a Black Women of Business.
Miss Rose.
Her nephew was gunned down by an individual and his best friend, actually, and the police gave him a bond. So now he's out on a $100,000 bond.
The judge.
Yeah.
The judge gave him a bond.
They gave him a bond.
Okay.
And, right now, that's who was on my mind as we were speaking, kind of while I zoned out a little bit. I wanted to make sure that his story get put out there because it's relating with guns. It's relating with, people being here to serve and protect. So I just wanted to make sure I shed a little light on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I do want to talk about this Washington, D.C., these teenagers that actually, end up carjacking. What was it? He wasn't an Uber driver. He was
Uber Eats driver.
He was Uber Eats driver.
And an immigrant as well.
Yeah, and he was an immigrant. This guy tried. Well, the fact is, they tried to steal his car from him. This doesn't matter. Who you are, what you are. Doesn't matter your race. I've seen people talk about this guy. This guy was a Asian Muslim. Which was not true. Doesn't stop. Let's stop that. Okay, let's stop that. Someone tried to carjack another person. It doesn't matter that person's race or anything like that. They tried to carjack another person, end up killing this guy. This guy is trying to provide for his family.
I do think it is. I do think race is slightly relevant here.
Why is that?
Because it's
I don't think they thought about race.
No, definitely. So just because I don't think that don't think that race. This definitely wasn't racially motivated, right? But it's clear that that you've got someone here who's working a minimum wage job, an unskilled job, making very small wages, and someone who's obviously came to America to improve their standard of living. Mm-hmm. They're working one of the worst, most lowest paid jobs in our society. Just to make ends meet, just so they can be a taxpayer, just so they can't use our welfare. And then American nationals then want to take this person's life and steal what this person's worked for. So I do think it raises slightly relevant in this matter. That's why I said he's an immigrant. That's what I think that is relevant. I think it's relevant that I think it's very interesting that Americans would want to take from someone who's clearly came here for a right reason. That's my angle.
All right. So what do you think?
I agree with the point that he's made. But
This is
also think about this.
We don't agree with each other. We like to argue.
Yeah. But I'm thinking from it probably would be not confrontational, but basically, those kids who decided to do this act, what it is that they were missing. You know what I'm saying? I can't justify their actions. I can't justify I always go to parenting. I'm going straight for the parents. Where did you go wrong? Yeah. Obviously, the parents are just some rotten parents. Yeah. Because you don't know how to raise your kids. Because here they are, the worst of our society. Stealing someone's vehicle, end up killing this person, and you're the mother and the father of these monsters.
I think that's relevant. But at the end of the day, you're 15 years old. You know the difference between right and wrong. Right?
Oh yeah, you definitely know.
That's my point. It's I don't care how bad your upbringing's been. That at the end of the day, if it I've been in some bad positions where I've been completely broke and not have any money, etc. I didn't think, hey, let's go jack somebody. Do you know what I mean? And I think when you're 15, it's you have the wherewithal, you have the agency to determine, okay, I should be stealing people's cars. Do you know what I mean? And what are they going to do with it anyway? They're 15 years old. They're going to go over joyride and then set it on fire. They weren't doing this for any real material gain, surely.
Yeah. And so what we're talking about is a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old girls charged in the armed fatal carjacking of a Virginia husband and father last week in D.C. are reportedly getting a plea deal. Okay. So the Washington Post, which sat in on the virtual hearing for the two juveniles held on Wednesday, reports that the prosecutor had told the judge they were expecting to give attorneys plea bargain offers in the next day or two. And that's common. That's actually, I don't know why people are surprised by this. That's a common thing. They always say, they offer a plea deal. Here's what we're going to offer you. You take this, we don't have to take this to court. And that's a common thing. So, but some people are upset because they think that the two girls should be charged as an adult.
I mean, to be honest, I disagree with that. I think in the case of murder charges, you should have plea deals. I don't think they shouldn't be allowed, but I think definitely it should be customary that every murder charge goes through the court system. Because if fair enough, it's like a parking ticket or something minor, they might plea deal out and to avoid using the court's resources. But when it's like a murder charge like this, no, absolutely not. This needs to go full. This needs to be fully scrutinized. I want all the evidence put out there. That's the whole point that we have the justice system we have. All
right, so we're talking about this shooting that happened in Washington D.C. We're talking about things that happen around the country. Got a lot of news stories we want to cover today. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Folks, this is Doug Man Jones. And I get my gun news from Michael Cargill at Come and Talk It.
Hello, my name is Edwin Walker. I'm an independent program attorney with Texas Law Shield. I want to talk to you today about an issue that we see on a daily basis. In fact, you yourself will encounter it on a daily basis, and that is the subject of road rage. I am sure that you have all seen road rage. You may have actually been involved in a road rage incident. Now, if you're a responsible gun owner, I'm going to give you a few words of advice on how to react when you find yourself in one of these unfortunate road rage incidents. While on the roadways, we all observe something that makes us upset. Whether it's poor driving, unsafe driving, or just simply somebody being very discourteous. by all means, you should restrain yourself from engaging that person and telling them how bad their actions were, because this can be perceived as an act of road rage. If you're a lawful gun owner, you have a firearm in your vehicle, you do not want to be viewed as the aggressor in a road rage situation. Now, with regard to a situation where an individual has chosen to rage against you, and you are the actual victim of the road rage, if you and the other individuals are still in their automobiles, do not use your firearm to respond to any of the rager's activities. This is because law enforcement views the fact that you're both still safely in your metal boxes as removing any threat of immediacy that you may be harmed. So please, if you have a gun, somebody is raging against you, forget you have a gun. Don't display it, don't brandish it, don't show it, don't point it, and for God's sake, don't fire it. This could result in a lot of trouble for you. Now let's look at a situation where a road rage incident has escalated. It has escalated to the point where one of the participants has actually gotten out of their vehicle. We recommend that you stay in your vehicle at all times. Do not exit your vehicle, because the person who exits their vehicle is going to be looked at as the aggressor. If the other individual has exited their vehicle and they are not in contact with your vehicle and they do not have a weapon, then do not feel that you can display your weapon in an act of self-defense. People are allowed to just simply stand there and scream at you, scream whatever they want. Until they make a demonstrative effort to try to harm you, there is no immediate threat that would justify displaying or shooting or brandishing your firearm. Now, in the event that the person shows their own weapon, in particular a firearm, the existence of their weapon would give you reasonable belief that there was an immediate threat of harm that would justify an act of force or deadly force.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now, here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're back, and we're talking about this shooting that happened in Washington, D.C., these teenagers. And Michael says, hey, I read where one of the teens had been charged before with carjacking. And if it's the teen's second and the victim dies, then they should be charged as an adult. And I could be wrong about that, though, being the second time. So
I haven't seen anything mentioning the fact they've got other charges, and because that they're juveniles, that we can't search them by name.
Right.
So we can't actually find out.
Can't find out. Now, tell me, what does the law say?
Well, the law says, or on this article here, it says that that in DC that you can only be charged as an adult if you're at the age of 16 or 17 and charged with one of four serious crimes, which is first-degree murder, aggravated armed robbery, rape, or assault with a deadly weapon.
All right, so you got to be, what age is that?
16 or 17.
So 16 or 17, you have to be charged at least 4 felonies.
Yeah, one of those 4 felonies, but these girls are only age 13.
One of the 4
15.
felonies.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's not going to be one of them.
Yeah.
So no, they're not. They can't be charged.
Well, technically, yeah, they've got a murder charge, but like I said, they're 13 and 15, so they're out of the guidelines. Yeah.
Okay.
But this is only guidelines. A judge might want to divert from that, or they can. I think they have the discretion to do that. But DC guidelines says 16 or 17.
Okay. All right. So and then Thomas says those young females had zero parental control standards and no teaching on respect for life and property and authority.
Absolutely.
And Christina says, hey there, thank goodness for your choice of glass, keeping your awesome self and doing what you do best. Happy Easter. Happy Easter to everyone out there. Happy Easter to you. He has risen. He has risen. All right, so let's go back to DC. All right, so here's the video, just so you know, if you guys are not sure about what we're talking about as far as the DC incident with these teenage girls, here's that video right now. So take a look at this. Can't play the audio. Too much profanity there.
She's stealing their car.
And what's happening here, just in case you listen to us in radio land, is we're watching a video where these 2 teenage girls actually jump in the vehicle, take a vehicle from the Uber Eats driver. One of the girls jump in the passenger side, speeds off while the driver is holding on to the side of the vehicle. They make a right turn. They wreck. The vehicle flips. When the vehicle flips, the Uber Eats driver is thrown from the vehicle and crushed and killed, and on the sidewalk. And the strange things about this is, I don't know if you paid attention to the video, is that no one sees his body on the ground immediately.
Yeah, and I noticed that straight away.
They totally do not see him.
They don't acknowledge it straight away.
Yeah,
and that's what's also kind of so dark about this, is that when you listen to the girls, they have absolutely no regard for the fact that there's literally a dead body, literally there in the corner of the video.
No, they're so concerned. She's more concerned with her purse being in the vehicle.
Yeah,
my purse is in the vehicle. Get my purse or my bag out of the vehicle. No one cares about the fact this guy is laying on the ground and he's dead, body lifeless.
Yeah, it's really.
That's
strange.
amazing to me.
It is really strange, especially watching the video live again here, because you can actually watch people and see their body language around it.
Right,
and you can see they're completely unfazed. Or a lot of them actually have their back towards.
They don't even see it.
Notice, right?
They don't even notice it.
And it's one of those things where I wonder if they didn't notice. I wonder if they literally just because the adrenaline of the situation, you see a flipped over car and you don't see the body there. Maybe they didn't notice it. Maybe they genuinely didn't at the time.
I honestly think they didn't notice it.
Yeah,
I think they didn't pay attention to it, didn't notice the guy at all, his lifeless body laying on the sidewalk.
Yeah, no, it's pretty shameful.
It's pretty sad. And Thomas asked, was a weapon used? No, a weapon was not used. They just,
a taser.
Oh, they did?
They had a taser.
A taser, okay. Yeah. Okay, all right. So use a taser on this guy. Man, it's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely crazy. And that goes to show, more in what we're talking about as far as being, situational awareness, being aware of your surroundings, locking your vehicle. It's happened a lot. I noticed it's happened a lot. I use the Citizen app. And when I'm looking at the Citizen app, at night, especially around 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you'll see a lot of different, crimes happen around your city. You will see where, the pizza delivery driver is being robbed, carjacked, maybe held hostage. That actually has happened in Austin multiple times. You'll see where someone goes to a gas station, gets gas, the gas station, leave their keys in their vehicle, and someone jumps in on the passenger side and jumps in the driver's side from the passenger side and takes their vehicle. You got to lock your vehicles. You got to watch your surroundings. You don't know if someone's watching you to be their next victim.
That's why, when it comes to when you have your license to carry, when you're at a gas station at 2 a.m., open carry. Well, seriously, because that's one of those things where when you do that and you're open carry, especially when you have a holstered firearm, it just tells everybody in the vicinity, hey, don't screw with me. Do you know what I mean? I've got my license, I'm carrying a weapon legally, but hey, I'm not here to mess around. Do you know what I mean?
I feel kind of guilty because I actually march around my vehicle with my AR, so I kind of feel guilty right about now, like a little toy soldier. I'm just I do. Like I'm a drill sergeant giving commands. A hut, 2, 3, 4, right turn, left turn, halt.
Well, I think just again as black people have this thing where you end up and sometimes you find yourself in certain neighborhoods where you just think, I'm going to be really careful who I make eye contact with around here. Do you know what I mean? You have this sixth sense.
I look at everybody. I was like, I wish you would. I eye everybody. I'm like, yeah, that's right. I'm watching you. Yeah. Excuse me, ma'am, I'm looking at you too. That's right. I don't trust anybody. I trust no one. When I'm getting gas, I happen to get gas that time of what I try not to do. I try to plan my day. I try to plan the things that I do throughout the day so I don't put myself in those type of situations. That's also part of it.
Wise, yeah.
Yeah, that's also that's part of everything, And people say, well, you should be able to do those things. Yes, I agree with you 100%. You should be able to go at 3 o'clock in the morning, stop at the gas station, get gas, go inside, get something to drink, some chips, whatever, and not have to worry about someone robbing you or, taking your vehicle or something like that. Absolutely, I agree with you. But unfortunately, that's where we are today. So you have to, we go out and we do nightly runs in my house. We'll do, hey, let's go get some ice cream. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Let's get some ice cream. Hey, you want some ice cream? Yeah, I want some ice cream. What do you want? I want some chips and some. Hey, let's get some Rice Krispies and some vanilla ice cream. You ever try vanilla ice cream and Rice Krispies?
No, I need to come to your house at 2 a.m.
My God. Oh my God.
That's the move. That's definitely
you don't even, you gonna learn to, hey, let me tell you. So, so I'm like, hey, I want to go out. Let's get some ice cream and some Rice Krispies, and, I go out and get that, and we go in as a team. One person stays with the vehicle, the other person goes into the store. That's what you do. You have to plan your trip and plan your day. What do you think?
You gotta plan your day nowadays.
That's right.
Because folks out here be Man, it'd be crazy out here, bro. You'll be surprised what you run into at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Especially in Riverside, right?
On everything.
You live in Riverside?
No, I don't stay in Riverside no more.
You used to?
Used to, yeah. I used to stay in Riverside, but it's like coming from St. Louis. It's basically this is a whole culture shock coming down here. It's way safer in Austin than it is in St. Louis. St. Louis is like the third dangerous city.
Oh yeah.
In the United States. So like
St. Louis is no joke.
On everything. So paying at the parking meters, you gotta look over your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? But out here in Texas, it's like it's really chill. For me, I ain't gotta really worry about too much. You know what I'm saying? Because I try to stay out the way too, plan my day and like share as less information about my location as possible. Like letting me know with random people and stuff like that. Because you can't trust nobody out here. You know what I'm saying? You can't trust nobody everywhere, like anywhere. Because I came to a place where folks be like, yeah, just come in, walk in my house. The door's open. What you mean? What you mean by that? But nah, bro, I heard that you definitely gotta watch it. Sometimes look over your shoulder wherever you at though.
Yeah, you got to have that routine. You got to have I have a nightly routine in my house. You know, a routine where I want to make sure that everyone is safe inside the house. So there's a thing that we do. One, we make sure all the doors and the windows are locked. Okay. We make sure that all the vehicles are locked outside, you know, and everything's in the driveway or in the garage, whatever. We make sure we take our valuables out of our vehicle, lock the vehicle doors, all the windows are up. We lock all the doors inside the house. We turn the alarm system on inside the house. The dogs, you know, I have 3 female dogs, and I have their beds, you know, spaced out around the room so that no matter what, you know, one of my dogs is going to hear something that happens outside the house. You know, I purposely do that. And I train my dogs to do that. One sleeps to the left side, you know, one sleeps on the right side, one sleeps by the door, you know, so that we can hear something that happens and they'll alert you. Dogs are good for that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And so you just got to have that alert system, you know. And then I use my cameras. I have so many cameras. I can pull my phone up, you know, literally barely get up out of bed, grab my phone. I hear something outside. I look at the camera, see if I see anything. You know, that's you know, you got to have a certain routine. You got a certain thing about security to keep the family safe.
Yeah, well, back when I was rich, I used to live in like a high rise.
You said back when you were rich.
I had 24-hour security, so I didn't have to worry about any of this.
So you poor now. He's slumming with us now. He's poor. Okay, go ahead. So back when you were rich, go ahead.
Well, I used to live in a condo, so we had like 24-hour security. Do you know what I mean? Downstairs, so I didn't have to worry about anything.
That's right. You lived.
They kept out the riffraff.
You lived in the Jenga building, right?
Back in the day, yeah.
That's right. I always thought
he was pimping.
No,
he lived in the Jenga building.
Legit.
We can see your building from here. Say hi.
Like some of the safety measures I had took, I always thought it was normal for you to lock your doors, for you to take all your valuables out the car.
You thought that was normal?
I thought that was it's normalized. You got to do that stuff.
You would
know
think. You would think.
And then also like one thing I realized growing up in an environment that if you do have, like for me, my experience was if I do have the same schedule, that makes my moves predictable.
Mm-hmm.
So I always got to switch it up every now and then. So like my brain is my defense system.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, just hearing the different perspectives of how everybody was raised, or like how they teach their children, how they teach their family. I'm like,
Right.
man, this is loud though.
Right.
But yeah, I always thought like, yeah, you gotta lock your doors or somebody gonna pop the lock. You know, because I was young back in the day, you know what I'm saying?
And you got to have a plan of what happens if someone
so-
breaks into the house too, you know? Because what if someone comes through the window, someone does get inside, they gain entry into the home. What is the plan for everyone inside the house? So you're going to accidentally shoot one of your loved ones? Yeah. You know, what are you going to do? This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It. I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government.
After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were compliant with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're back and we're talking about crime everywhere. Talk about this stuff as it pertains to the law. Want to make sure. And you know what? If you have questions about something, you have questions about the Texas gun law, you have questions about what's happening at the Capitol, you have questions about open carry, concealed carry, handgun license, any questions about gun law, give me a call. And my telephone number is 512-543-2284. That's 512-543-2284. Come and talk it. All right, so I want to go to this case, this video of a young lady in Austin who was paraplegic, had an incident, a run-in with the Austin Police Department. Apparently they're having some type of memorial, and somehow they had, some interaction with the Austin Police Department. So I want to take a look at this, and you know what? Some people are going to like what I have to say. Some people are not going to like what I have to say, but you know what? Get over it. I'm going to tell you my honest opinion. I have no feelings. Feelings is a song that was written in the 70s. So get over yourself. I'm going to tell you exactly what my thoughts are. All right, so take a look at this video here. All right, so this one here, we're not playing the audio. And basically what's happening is this group of people are having a memorial for Garrett Foster. He's the young man that was carrying the AK-47, participating in a protest where another young man who was driving the vehicle, when Garrett Foster approached his vehicle with a mask on, with an AK-47, standing outside his vehicle at night with a group of protesters, approached this young man's vehicle. So the young man pulled out his concealed handgun and fired 5 shots and stopped Garrett Foster because he perceived Garrett Foster as to be a threat. Well, this young man happened to be the spouse of the paraplegic young lady in this video. And they had some kind of interaction with law enforcement. And they're just, things were getting out of control. They were just being rude, just getting really crazy. And honestly, let me tell you guys something. I don't care if I'm a police officer. I don't care what I do in life. Just because I'm a police officer, just because I'm someone else, I don't have to sit here and take whatever treatment that you give me. You got to have some type of respect for other people. Just because you're like, well, you're a police officer, take whatever I say to you. Well, I'm sorry. I'm a human being, and I don't have to sit there as another human being and take that level of disrespect that you're actually, giving this person. And in defense of these police officers, and yeah, I'm defending the Austin police officer. And by the way, give me a call. That's 512. I'm sorry, what's that number again? Because I always 512-643-LIVE. That's 512-643-LIVE. Give me a call and tell me I'm wrong, because just because they're police officers mean that they have to sit there and take you yelling and screaming at them. They don't have to take that kind of crap. And they're asking you to get out of the road. They're asking if you're in the roadway and they're telling you to move out of the street, you're committing a Class A misdemeanor blocking a roadway. And if they have to pick your butt up and move you, then that's what they have to do. And so they have to actually literally push her out of the way in their wheelchair, and she happened to hit the ground. And so you can take it as you want. It is what it is. They gave, say, hey, get out of the roadway. You're going to get hit. You're going to get run over. And she's kicking and screaming, and she ends up on the ground. And I'm sorry. It is what it is. Call me up. You don't like what I got to say.
No, personally, no, I pretty much agree. I mean, I think, I'm no fan of law enforcement, period. But I think, at the end of the day, like, you can't block a road. Because one of those things where, look, if I end up hitting you in my truck, I'm gonna end up getting sued. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, this is one of those situations where you play in a road, something bad's gonna happen. It's either you're gonna get hit by a truck or cops gonna push you out your wheelchair. This is probably the best of all the situations that could have happened. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, look, you lost your husband on that block this time last year. You don't want to get killed on that block too. Do you know what I mean? So get out of the road.
It is what it is. I want to put myself in those type of situations.
Exactly, yeah. I don't like police very much either, but I don't go out to deliberately antagonize them in this kind of way. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to go walk in the road and say, "Hey, I'm not moving."
And they actually were going out of their way to be nice. They're actually going out of their way, like, look, you guys need to get out of the road.
Well, they know there's cameras, right? So they know that they can't do they know it's not the ATs where they can just beat them up and then let it be. Do you know what I mean? They have to be somewhat, give them some kind of procedure.
I'm the first person. I'll tell you when a police officer's doing something wrong. I'm the first person to criticize and tell what it is. But that's the problem, is whenever I look at a situation, I give someone my opinion, they think that, oh, I'm sucking up to law enforcement. I don't suck up to anybody. I tell you exactly how I see it. If you don't like how I see it, then that's your problem, because you're an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, everyone. I guess everyone pretty much knows I'm not a very big fan of the police. I'm definitely the most honest arbiter, and I can't. I mean, what they're doing seems to be. And also as well, I dislike the people in the video as well, because they're using the girl in the wheelchair as a human shield. They're like, oh, hey, she's in the wheelchair, therefore you can't touch her. Yeah. And it's like, you have able bodies. If you don't like the police, fight the police then, but don't just crowd around a woman in a wheelchair and use her as a human shield. Do you know what I mean?
And there are other angles of this video too. I want to roll the other angles also. But go ahead. Yeah. So what were you saying?
Oh yeah, they seem to care about her when she's on the floor, but they're all kind of using her as a human shield when while it's convenient. Do you know what I mean? You can see at the beginning of the video, they're kind of crowding around her. And it's
and let me tell you, I don't care who's watching us right now. I don't care. It doesn't matter. If you disagree with us, give me a call. Let me know your stance, what your thoughts are, and defend your stance. That's the bottom line. That's what this is all about. Come and talk it. I'm looking at something and I'm telling you my opinion. You call me up and you tell me that you think I'm wrong and give me your opinion. Defend your opinion. Defend yourself. Let me know, what your stance is and why you're right and why we're wrong. I love to know. Prove me wrong. All right, so Taylor, line 1. Taylor, what you got?
Oh, hello. So,
What's up, Taylor?
Hello, am I on the air? All right,
You
good.
are
So a little
on
bit
the
of context on this whole situation is they had banners, and they had set one of the banners down in front of the spot where her partner had been killed, and the police officer took the banner, and they went over there to ask for it back. And now, obviously, they didn't do it nicely. There was a lot of shouting from both sides.
Yeah, there's a reason we can't play the audio of the video because there's too much profanity.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Can't even play it on
there's
radio.
A lot of yelling on both sides. And the problem, I think, was they arrested Whitney's caretaker, so she couldn't wheel her out of this because she wheeled Whitney over there to talk to them. And she talked to them well. It kind of ensued into a shouting match. And when they arrested her caretaker, she was told the reason she was arrested was because she was being rude. This is what she was told by the police officer. If you watch the live stream that they did afterwards when she was released without charges, since they didn't charge her with anything, just arrested her and then took Whitney and wheeled her, who's like a quadriplegic amputee, and wheeled her. And instead of nicely wheeling her, she was struggling in the wheelchair itself. But there was no need for the officer to go right up to the curb and just push her into the curb, causing her to fall off.
I know. What do you think? You think she slid out of the seat, or do you think she was thrown from the chair?
It was a combination of kind of both. It's kind of like a sliding throw because he hit the curb in the video.
Let's see that video one more time. I'm trying to see. All right, was she thrown or was she? And you know what? Call us up. What do you think? Yeah, guys, take a look at this video. You're the jury, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. What say ye? Was she thrown? Was she tossed? Or did she slide out of the chair?
I think, like Taylor said, it's kind of one of those things where it's actually kind of neither. It's just a bad situation. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're like, the bottom line is you're in a road. The police want to get you out of the road, and you're not like kind of complying. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things where
she wouldn't have ended up on the ground if it wasn't for the police officer pushing the chair.
She wouldn't end up on the ground, and she knew how to act like a young lady.
Yeah,
by the looks of it, I can see that she was already.
And my telephone number is 512-643.
I'm not
5483. 512-643-5483. She wouldn't have been on the ground. She had like a young lady.
Well, I'm not saying that like the police are
I'm saying
in the
that.
right, but I'm saying like at the same time you shouldn't be in the road. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes you gotta toss them on the ground. Sometimes you gotta a swift kick in the butt is what some people need.
You have to act kindly, especially in that situation when the police had kind of taken something that was theirs for the memorial,
right?
And they're asking for it back, and it started an argument because the police officer refused to give it back to them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a very high intensity situation because she's in the exact spot where her partner died.
Right.
Speaking about a partner dying, and I just don't think it's right that cops shouldn't push people on the road when they're on their wheelchairs onto the sidewalk.
Yeah, no,
I don't think people who murder people should be walking around free either. So,
I think the second part of that needs some elaboration. Who's murdering who and walking around free?
I was talking about Daniel Perry, especially when he posted on Twitter right before about shooting protesters before he went and did it. So.
Oh, this is the guy who shot Jared. Garrett. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, again, I'm not particularly familiar with the shooting of Garrett Foster, but I just think in this situation, it's one of those things where, like, I'm not pro throwing women in wheelchairs out of their wheelchairs, but at the same time, a road is a road. Do you know what I mean? And
you're blocking a roadway. That's a Class A misdemeanor. That's up to 1 year in jail blocking a roadway. That's a crime.
And also as well, like the memorial was on the pavement. I walked past that memorial, like when all this George Floyd stuff was going down. Like their memorial is on a park bench, like a couple meters. It's not in the road. You know what I mean? So
it is.
What? Sorry.
It was because the banner was on the planter in front of the bench,
mm-hmm.
and and then they put it into that police car that was then in the road.
I wonder what the business thinks about that and all that stuff. In front of their business, they're trying to run a business and stuff like that.
Well, look,
they seem to have been supportive, but I don't know entirely.
Well, I think footfall traffic for businesses has pretty much fell off a cliff anyway, so I think this is probably not having much of an impact.
All right, we come back. We'll finish this conversation. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Hey, this is AWR Hawkins of Breitbart News, and you're listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, I invoke my right to remain silent, and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard, quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given to suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements can be used against you regardless of the Miranda warnings because you're not in custody. If you're put in handcuffs but you say something incriminating on your own without being questioned, those statements can and will be used against you because you're not being interrogated. You're just starting to spout off. This is why it's imperative that you know your rights and you shouldn't rely on the police to read them to you. Affirmatively invoke your rights. Say, I'm invoking my right to remain silent and my right to my attorney. Once you do that, the police legally shouldn't continue questioning you without your attorney present. But remember, there's a second part to this equation. After invoking your rights, you must exercise those rights. That means you have to keep your mouth closed. Protect yourself. Don't let the legal system take advantage of you after an incident. And Law Shield members, if you've been involved in a self-defense incident, remember to call the emergency hotline and speak with your independent program attorney.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so let's go back to the phone lines again. And once again, our call-in number is 512-643-5483. That's 512-643-5483. Come in, talk it. All right, so let's talk, is it Elgin? Bastrop. Elgin, Texas. You're on with Come and Talk It. All right, you're calling about Elgin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm calling about an incident that happened in Elgin last week. I think it was Friday, maybe Thursday.
Okay.
Where someone actually cut off someone, got out their vehicle, went to the other vehicle where the guy was an LTC, and ended up busting the glass on the vehicle. And the guy actually shot the guy. I don't know if he killed, were shot dead or whatever.
Okay.
But I was just wondering in regards to the gentleman that was the LTC carrier where the guy got out the car, started beating on the car, actually broke the guy's windshield, how, to me, he was legally defending himself. And I just wondered what was your idea on that?
Okay, so let's break this down. Let's Google this and let's go to the story. And what does it say?
So it appears that there was two drivers. Who were one driver was obviously driving too slowly. Or that's what it appears to say here. So then the driver or the person who's been shot, what he did is he pulled in front of the car, slammed on his brakes, causing a small traffic jam to follow behind them. He gets out of his car, starts attacking this person who then shot him, starts attacking him, obviously broke the windshield, and then was shot at the scene. It doesn't appear that he was shot dead. He was shot in the face, but there's nothing here saying that he's been killed or anything like that.
Okay. I got it. Okay. So what we're saying is, so there are two vehicles on the road.
Mm-hmm.
This guy pulls in front of another vehicle, jams on brakes, brake checks this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he brakes checks him, he comes to a stop. He gets out of his vehicle. He's the front vehicle. He gets out of his vehicle, goes back to the second vehicle, breaks the window of that vehicle, and gets shot in the face.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, justified.
Yeah, there you go, right?
Bam! Justified.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know about everyone else, but if you put hands on my truck, like, this is going to be a bad situation. So I think if you're going to go to the extreme, actually busting in someone's windows, then you're getting to the point when I think there is a legitimate, chance of like physical injury. Do you know what I mean? Someone's actually.
And let's talk about what the Texas law says. The Texas law says that if someone attempts to enter or remove you from your vehicle, you can use force or deadly force to stop them. That's what that's the Texas Castle Doctrine.
Yep.
And so it's all about the Castle Doctrine is all about your home, your vehicle, and your place of business. If you're in any one of those three places and someone attempts to enter or remove you from your home, from your vehicle, from your place of business, you can use force or deadly force to stop them. I enforce this in class. I tell people, do not under any circumstances get out of your vehicle. The Texas law protects you if you stay inside your vehicle. The law says, hey, if you stay in that box, okay, and if someone enters that box or removes you from that box, you can use force or deadly force to stop them. Don't ever get out of your vehicle. And so this guy, which is vehicle number 2, if he stayed in his vehicle, vehicle number 1 gets out of his car, goes back to this guy's vehicle, breaks the window to enter that vehicle, then vehicle number 2 is justified in using force or deadly force to stop him. In this case, shooting him in the face.
Amen. Well, I mean, again, I think this is one of those situations. It's natural selection. You know what I mean? In the fact that we don't want these people in our society, and we definitely don't want these people to breed. So let's deal with them in the way that we've been the founding fathers let us have.
And I hope I don't know who this guy is, because we have a condom in Central Texas Gunworks to give you. That's don't procreate, because we have some nice ones there. So definitely come on by and pick one of those up from us. Award just especially for you.
Yeah.
I hope that answered your question, ma'am.
Yes, it does, Michael, and that is exactly what you told me when I took your class.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful rest of your day. All right, so let's go back to talking about what happened in Austin with the Austin Police Department. Real quick, Taylor is saying, and Taylor gets hot on this topic. He's like, look, they threw her out of the chair. And what I'm saying, is this, you're in a confrontation with law enforcement. They're asking you to get out of the road. You're in the road. That's the problem with these protesters. You have a right to protest. You have a right to let people know that you're upset about something. You know what? But when the police tell you, okay, that's enough, time's up, you got to get out of the road. You're blocking the roadway, which you're committing a crime, which is a Class A misdemeanor, which is up to 1 year in jail. We're going to remove you from the street for your safety and the safety of the motoring public, because there are cars on the road, and you being in the road, you're putting yourself in danger. You're putting the police in danger. You're putting the people that are in their vehicle in danger of hitting you. So to stop that, to eliminate that, we're going to remove you from the street. And so they didn't want to listen. They asked them several times, and then to the point where, okay, fine, then we're going to move you. If you can't act like a young lady, then they're going to treat you like something else and toss your butt on the side of the road.
But I'm a taxpayer. I pay taxes.
Then you got paid to be tossed on the side of the road as a taxpayer.
Yeah, and you're in the road. It's one of those things where it's like, it's a little hard to defend. Like, obviously, this isn't a nice outcome, and no one's going to be celebrating the outcome here. But at the end of the day, you're in the road.
And I understand, you're upset. I understand people are mad and angry about it, but that's the fact. And also, and yes, and when it comes to the shooting that happened in July downtown with Garrett Foster, getting shot by, what's the guy's name, Taylor?
Daniel Perry.
Getting shot by Daniel Perry. While they were doing a protest, I can see how that all plays out. You got to put yourself in another person's perspective, and this is how I see the incident. This guy Garrett Foster was a prior military Air Force. He had a right to carry an AR-15, AK-47. He had a right to carry that AK-47 and a right to, decide to participate in the protest with that AK-47. There's nothing illegal about that. And let's put ourselves in that mindset. Okay, here we are in July. The rest of the country is shut down. He's carrying an AK-47. He's wearing a face mask. It's nighttime. Now here I am, Daniel Perry, driving a vehicle, driving my vehicle for a rideshare company. I've been deployed overseas 2 times to Iraq, Afghanistan, wherever. I've been deployed twice, and so I'm in that mindset also of being deployed. You can't eliminate that from your mind. You've been deployed overseas. That's ingrained in your body. So here I am working part-time for a rideshare company during July when the majority of the country is shut down. There's not much going on. When you hit that time of night, pretty much Austin in July was a ghost town. Not that many people were out and about. So here I am. I drop off a passenger on the 4th Street. I go to Congress. I make a right turn onto Congress from 4th Street. When people are making a right turn, what do you do when you're making a right turn?
You look left.
You look to the left. That's right. So you're looking to the left because you're looking for oncoming traffic. He hits the gas as he goes to the right, and then he probably turns his head, sees there's a group of people in the roadway. He comes to a stop. He didn't hit anyone, didn't run anyone over, didn't bump anyone in the vehicle. He comes to a stop. They surround his vehicle. Someone motioned him to roll the window down. He rolls the window down. He notices there's a guy standing next to my driver's side window that's down now. He's got a face mask on. He's got an AK-47 and wearing tactical gear. They're yelling and screaming. They're banging on my vehicle. It's nighttime. His training kicked in. This guy had been deployed twice to Afghanistan. His training kicks in. He reached down between his seat and center console, pulled out his handgun, fired 5 shots, stopped what he perceived to be a threat. And when he did that, the crowd dispersed.
Yeah, 100%. You need to be aware of yourself when you're carrying a firearm. Like again, you must know when you carry a firearm just day to day, right? Is that when you enter a building, like you need to be aware of your your mannerisms and all this kind of stuff when you're carrying a firearm. Even more still when you're walking around with an assault rifle. Do you know what I mean? When you're walking around with a long gun, like you need to understand how you're perceived by the public.
Yeah, just because I can carry a gun, am I going to walk
The
to?
thing that bothers me about this whole case is like on June 3rd, before this whole incident, this was maybe 17 days before it happened, 18 days.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong on that exact number. He talked specifically on his social media about killing protesters.
So
and he
what?
came to
But if it's
Austin
justified killing, so what? It's like me talking about killing gang members and hanging out in a bad area of LA. Just because I said it was going to happen and it happened doesn't mean it was premeditated, or doesn't mean it was an unlawful killing. Does it?
No.
Yeah,
but
precisely.
it
So
was
it's
very
irrelevant
aware
then,
that
isn't
there
it?
are
So it's
people there.
irrelevant.
I still think the whole narrative that he didn't see him is kind of doesn't make sense because there's a lot of people there, very obvious to see them.
All right.
There's nothing blocking his view, but yeah.
All right. Anything else? We got like 10 seconds.
No.
You good? All right. Sound like you're eating something. We don't like you. Don't be calling to the radio show eating stuff, You want to hear everything you have to say. All right. Thank you, Taylor. Appreciate you calling into the show. All right. And like I always say, as always, you got to remember, you cannot protest the police, protest the cops, and then turn around and act like the cop. As always, more guns equals less crime. Go out there and buy yourself a gun. You've been listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.